Ludwig van Beethoven occupies a singular position as the composer who bridged the classical and romantic eras, transforming the symphony, sonata, concerto, and quartet into vehicles for profound personal expression and heroic struggle. Born in Bonn in 1770 and active primarily in Vienna from 1792 onward, he produced a body of work marked by relentless innovation, emotional depth, and an unyielding assertion of artistic freedom amid progressive deftness. His 9 symphonies, 32 piano sonatas, 16 string quartets, 5 piano concertos, and single opera, Fidelio all contain masterpieces. Yet it is the Symphony No. 9 in D minor, Op. 125, completed in 1824 and premiered that May in Vienna, that is universally regarded as his supreme achievement, a monumental summation of his artistic journey, and one of the most transcendent works in the entire musical repertoire. The Ninth Symphony, often called the choral, stands apart for its unprecedented scale, structural daring, and philosophical ambition. Spanning roughly 70 minutes, far longer than any previous symphony, it expands the form Beethoven himself had revolutionized in the third, Eroica, and fifth. The first movement, emerging from primordial chaos into a vast architectural edifice in D minor, conveys cosmic struggle with unparalleled intensity. The second, a scherzo of relentless rhythmic drive, replaces the traditional minuet with a fugal whirlwind that seems to propel time itself forward. The sublime third movement, a set of double variations in B-flat major, offers one of the most profound slow movements in symphonic literature. An adagio of serene, almost religious contemplation, where melodies float in ethereal dialogue, suggesting resignation, acceptance, and spiritual elevation. The finale, however, is what elevates the ninth to immortal status. After dramatically rejecting recaps of the earlier movements, signaled by stark recitatives in the cellos and basses, Beethoven introduces Friedrich Schiller's ode, An die Freude, to joy, setting it for soloists and chorus in a gesture without precedent in symphonic history. This ode to joy theme, simple yet radiant, undergoes variations of increasing exuberance, culminating in a triumphant proclamation of universal brotherhood. Alle Menschen werden Brüder. All men shall become brothers. The movement's architecture, combining Turkish march, double fugue, and ecstatic vocal quartets, mirrors the Enlightenment ideal of human unity while transcending it through music's capacity to express the ineffable. Beethoven, by then completely deaf, reportedly turned from the podium at the premiere to see the audience's thunderous applause, a poignant testament to his isolation and triumph. The ninth's significance extends far beyond formal innovation. Composed during Beethoven's late period, when illness, loneliness, and financial hardship plagued him, the work embodies his defiant belief in art's redemptive power. The turn to vocal forces in the finale reflects his lifelong engagement with humanistic texts, evident also in Fidelio and the Missa Solemnis, but here the message achieves apocalyptic universality. Joy, not as fleeting pleasure but as hard-won spiritual victory over suffering. The symphony thus becomes a secular mass, a musical sermon on human potential and solidarity that resonates across political and cultural divides. Its cultural afterlife confirms its stature. Adopted as the Anthem of Europe in 1972, in an instrumental arrangement by Herbert von Karajan, quoted in moments of historical gravity from the fall of the Berlin Wall to Chinese student protests, and performed globally on occasions of celebration and mourning, the ninth has become a symbol of shared humanity. Leonard Bernstein conducted it on Christmas Day 1989 to mark German reunification, altering Schiller's Freude to Freiheit, freedom. Yet its power remains rooted in Beethoven's own uncompromising vision. A work that demands immense technical and emotional resources, yet speaks directly to the listener's soul. While the late string quartets reveal Beethoven's most introspective and experimental side, and the Fifth Symphony distills dramatic conflict with unmatched concision, the Ninth alone encompasses the full arc of his development, from classical rigor to romantic sublimity, and projects a message of hope that transcends its era. In its fusion of structural mastery, emotional depth, and universal aspiration, Beethoven's Ninth Symphony stands not only as his greatest work, but as one of the supreme achievements of human creativity, a testament to music's capacity to affirm life's highest ideals amid the darkest adversity. Ludwig van Beethoven, one of the most renowned composers in Western classical music history, remains a monumental figure whose works continue to resonate with audiences worldwide. Born on December 17, 1770 in Bonn, Germany, Mozart's contemporary left an indelible mark on music with his revolutionary compositions that bridged the classical and romantic eras. With a life marked by personal trials and triumphs, Beethoven's journey as both an artist and an individual reflects his unyielding spirit and profound dedication to his craft. Beethoven's early life was steeped in music. His father, Johann van Beethoven, was a tenor singer at the Bonn court and was determined to turn his son into a prodigious musician. Johann recognized Ludwig's talent at a young age and subjected him to rigorous musical training, often employing harsh methods to enforce discipline. Beethoven's childhood was not solely shaped by his father. He drew inspiration from the musical atmosphere of Bonn, where he encountered various musicians, including the influences of composers like Christian Gottlob Neef, who served as a mentor during his formative years. At the age of 17, Beethoven moved to Vienna, the musical epicenter of Europe, where he sought to establish himself as a composer and pianist. The move marked a significant turning point in his life. In Vienna, he interacted with prominent musicians and composers, including Joseph Haydn, who taught him composition. Beethoven soon became embroiled in the city's vibrant social scene, captivating audiences with his extraordinary piano skills. As Beethoven honed his craft, he developed a distinctive compositional style that combined innovation and emotional depth. His early works, composed during the classical era, echoed the stylistic traits of Haydn and Mozart, yet they also hinted at the remarkable individuality that would characterize his later output. The transition from a mere imitator to a master composer was gradual but unmistakable. His early piano sonatas, such as the notable Pathétique, Op. 13, showcased his ability to convey profound emotions through music. However, his growing fame was coupled with personal strife. By his late 20s, Beethoven began to experience gradual hearing loss, an affliction that would profoundly affect his life and work. Despite the encroaching silence, he persevered, finding ways to adapt both his compositions and performances to accommodate his deteriorating condition. The courage and resilience he displayed in the face of adversity were emblematic of his character, and these traits became central themes in his later works. The stark contrast between his vibrant early years filled with sound and the looming silence represented by his hearing loss created an emotional dichotomy that Beethoven often explored in his music. Beethoven's late period, spanning the final decade of his life, is revered for the profound complexity and emotional intensity found in his compositions. It was during this time that he began to break free from the constraints of traditional sonata forms, exploring new structural possibilities and experimenting with harmony and texture. The late string quartets and the Ninth Symphony mark a pinnacle in his artistic evolution, blending lyricism with dramatic contrasts that were revolutionary for his time. His Ninth Symphony, completed in 1824, is particularly noteworthy for its incorporation of choral elements in the final movement, with Friedrich Schiller's An die Freude, Ode to Joy, serving as a powerful declaration of universal brotherhood. This audacious experiment not only transformed the symphonic genre, but also set a precedent for future composers, influencing the development of orchestral music well into the 19th century. Imagine the electrifying atmosphere of a concert hall, where audiences were spellbound by the rousing choral finale, a moment that transcended music and beckoned a celebration of humanity. Despite facing profound isolation due to his deafness, Beethoven's late compositions illustrated an unyielding quest for artistic expression. His reliance on inner hearing, the ability to hear music in his mind, allowed him to create an unparalleled depth of emotional nuance in his work, an aspect that defines the spirit of his late masterpieces. The narrative of Beethoven's life is also underscored by his tumultuous personal relationships and struggles with mental health. He navigated complex familial dynamics, particularly with his alcoholic father and his siblings, which catalyzed a lifelong battle against depression and loneliness. His letters, particularly the poignant Heiligenstadt Testament, reveal his internal turmoil as he grappled with losing his hearing while striving to produce sublime music. The act of pouring his introspections into written letters demonstrated how he navigated the abyss of despair and isolation, seeking solace amidst his artistic pursuits. In this tumultuous early 19th century landscape, marked by political upheaval, the Napoleonic Wars, and dramatic cultural shifts, Beethoven's music emerged as both a reflection of and a response to societal change. The ideals of individualism and heroism prevalent in his works, particularly in compositions like the Eroica Symphony, resonate powerfully with the Romantic movement's emphasis on emotion and personal expression. Beethoven's musical legacy is multifaceted, flowing beyond the confines of his time. He fundamentally altered the trajectory of Western classical music, paving the way for subsequent composers such as Brahms, Wagner, and Mahler. His unyielding dedication to creativity and self-expression serves as an inspiration for generations of artists across various disciplines. The way he harnessed personal struggle to fuel creative output began a dialogue about the artist's role in society that continues to this day. His impact can also be seen in contemporary popular culture, where tributes to Beethoven's genius appear in numerous forms. Film scores, operas, and even advertisements have appropriated his music, underscoring the continued reverberation of his themes of triumph over adversity. Beethoven's complex persona, as a man of contradictions who strived for artistic perfection while grappling with personal demons, invites a deeper examination of the artistic journey. In understanding his life and struggles, we also reveal the universal themes of resilience, passion, and the human spirit's quest for understanding. As we listen to his music, we are reminded of the beauty that can arise from profound struggle, a message that resonates through the ages. Ludwig van Beethoven's legacy is that of a pioneer who navigated the tumult of his life to create music that transcends the barriers of time and culture. His indomitable spirit, reflected in his compositions, continues to inspire and challenge musicians and listeners alike in the pursuit of artistic integrity and emotional honesty. In a world that often feels fragmented and chaotic, Beethoven's music remains a testament to the power of creativity and the human experience, echoing through the centuries and inviting us to celebrate the resilience of the human spirit. His journey, a composition in itself, unfolds as a symphony of triumph, struggle, and an enduring quest for meaning, making Ludwig van Beethoven not only a towering figure in music history, but also a symbol of the transformative power of art.